6 great exercises in only 9 minutes to help your lower back feel better. Let's do it right now. What's up, guys? Hey, Jared Beckstrand here, Doctor of Physical Therapy, ToneAndTitan.com, and these are 6 of my favorite home exercises that you can do to alleviate pain and tension in your lower back. The whole thing is going to take us about 9 minutes to get through. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. I'll give you cues. I'll count down your time. All you've got to do is follow along. So get down on the ground and let's go to work. The first thing we're going to do is some lumbar rotation stretches. I'm going to get my timer. We'll hit start. Lay on your back with both your knees bent, and then you're just going to let both your knees fall down to the side. So right now I'm going to my left. You can let your right hip come up off the ground, but I want your shoulders to stay down on the ground. Take it as far as you can until you get a nice comfortable stretch up through that right side, and then hold it there for 20 seconds, right about there. And now we're going to take both knees over to the other direction. And so, this one's actually a little bit tighter on me. Again, you're on your back, your shoulders are down, and your hips are rotating until we get a good stretch. I feel that one through the left side of my lower back and down even into my hip. And again, just take it to where it's comfortable. We'll repeat that 3 times to each side. So it looks just like this. What you should feel, what you should notice is as you do these and as you go side to side with this, you're able to go a little bit further. As those muscles relax, as your lower back relaxes, you're going to be able to take this a little bit further with each stretch. So there's number 2 that way, and here's number 2 this way. Again, this whole routine is going to take us less than 10 minutes to do. These are exercises that I give to patients every single day in my physical therapy clinic, and the results are pretty remarkable. I mean, they do really well with them, so I hope that you find the same thing. I hope that these things really help you to feel better as well. Last time to the left for 20 seconds. And then we're going to go last time to the right for 20 seconds. Again, just a good stretch just to get the hips loosened up. It introduces a little bit of rotation in your lower back and is typically a good stretch for most people. Most people really find a lot of relief with this one. After this, we're going to get into a couple of stretches for your hips. We're going to do some piriformis stretches, and then we're also going to do some hamstring stretches because those 2 areas tend to get really tight in people who have lower back pain. And so to get into the piriformis stretch, what we're going to do is I'm going to take my left leg, cross it over my right, and then grab back behind my right knee with my hands. And now I'm just pulling my right knee up towards my chest until I get a good, comfortable stretch deep in my left glute. That's where your piriformis muscle sits. It's a hip rotator that sits deep to the glute. Go ahead and switch it up. So now my right leg crosses over my left knee, and then I'm going to pull that left knee up into my shoulder until I get a good stretch in the right glute. So that piriformis, it's a deep hip rotator, and honestly, it gets tight. Like 9 out of 10 patients with low back pain will have some tightness in that piriformis muscle. Go ahead and switch over to the other side. Left leg crosses over the right. And so honestly, this is one that I do regularly. I do have some back pain that kind of creeps up every now and then. And this is typically what I do to alleviate it. This little piriformis stretch is a really good one. 20 seconds on each side, good work. Over onto the right, and then we've got 1 more on each side before we get into the hamstring stretch. Should be comfortable. You know, don't pull so hard that it's actually painful. It's been proven that a slighter stretch sustained for longer is actually more effective than a more aggressive stretch held for shorter. So a lot of times patients will get under the mentality of it's this all or nothing, go big or go home type mentality. That's certainly not the case. Just try to keep it comfortable just until you get a good comfortable stretch down in those deep hip rotators. Here we go, last one on the right, and then we're going to get into a couple of easy hamstring stretches. Hamstrings are another muscle. They attach up to your pelvis, which influences kind of that foundation of your lower back. So it's important that we keep those stretched out and mobile. How I like to do that, bend your left leg, grab behind it, and then we're just going to straighten that left leg as high as we can in this direction. and just until we get a good stretch all down that hamstring. Hamstring goes from behind your knee to your butt, so it's kind of that back of your leg. That's what I'm after right there. 20 seconds on the left, and then we're going to go 20 seconds on the right. So again, knees bent, hands are behind the knees, and then all you have to do is extend that leg out as straight as you can. So straighten your knee, lift your foot up towards the ceiling, so it looks just like that. 20 seconds on each side, and we'll repeat that 3 times. There we go. So here's number 2 on the left. Excellent. And I think, for the most part, the lower back wants to feel better, and I know everybody who has lower back pain definitely wants it to feel better. Presenting it with the opportunity to do that, meaning doing the right stretches and the right exercises, really goes a long way in helping your lower back out. It goes a long way in helping to alleviate a lot of that pain and a lot of that tension that you feel in your lower back. It doesn't have to be long, it just has to be consistent. So a lot of people will ask, well, Jared, how often can I do a routine like this? And I recommend, the stretches. Here we go, last one. The stretches, so these first 3 exercises, I like to do those 2 to 3 times a day. The strengthening exercises, kind of a 1 to 2 times a day on those as we get into those. And that's what's coming up next. So we'll hold this left side. This is our last 20-second hold on the left. That's good. And then here's our last 20-second hold on the right. Just like this. And then we'll get into 3 of my favorite, what we're going to do, kind of a range of motion strengthening exercise next. And then we're going to follow that up with 2 of my favorite low back and core stabilization exercises after that. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to turn off this timer, and then I'm going to get my 1-minute timer going. So that one's off, and then here we go on this one. First exercise that we're going to do is called a posterior pelvic tilt. Well, an anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. As I lay on my back with my knees bent, I have an arch underneath my back. What I want you to do is, with your hips, tuck your hips backwards. So rotate your hips backwards to press your lower back into the mat, and then come back up out of that. So basically, we're rocking our hips backwards and then rocking our hips forward so that our back flattens into the mat, and so that it flattens into the mat and then it lifts up off of the mat or the floor or whatever it is that you're on. So here's my 1-minute timer. So we're going to go anterior tilt, back comes up off of the mat, posterior tilt, back flats down into the mat or into the floor or whatever it is that you're laying on. So lift your back up off, tip anteriorly, and then back down into the ground, tip posteriorly. This is a great, really safe, neutral position to just introduce a little bit more motion into your spine. Hold it for 1, 2, 3 seconds down, come up, and then hold that for 1, 2, 3 seconds up. So it looks just like that. And again, we're going to go for about a minute on this. Now, if this is aggravating to your back, please feel free to skip this exercise. Some conditions this might be a little bit aggravating for. Sometimes if you have like severe disc problems, either a disc bulge or stenosis going on in your back, it doesn't necessarily like this too much. But keep that in mind. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's get into some bridges. Lay on your back, knees bent, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up towards the ceiling, hold 1, 2, 3, and then come right back in. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips, hold 1, 2, 3, and then come right back down. And that's what our glute bridges look like. Try not to pull with your hamstrings. We just spent some time getting those stretched out and relaxed. Instead, what I want you to do is squeeze with your glutes to lift those up towards the ceiling. Use your glutes and your lower back muscle actually loves to work in connection with your glutes. They all serve to extend your trunk and extend your spine. If we can train those glutes, if we can make those stronger to take some of the strain off of your lower back, most people respond really well to that. And so that's what these bridges exercises are geared towards doing. Looks like we've got about 10 more seconds left. And then we've got our last exercise. We're flying through this, you guys. Again, only 9 minutes is all that it's going to take us. The last one we're going to do are some bird dogs. So we're down here on all fours. I want you to kick your left leg straight back as you lift your right arm straight forward. Hold 1, 2, and then we're going to go left arm straight forward as the right leg kicks straight back. Hold 1, 2, and then we're going to alternate. It looks just like that. This is a great exercise for using kind of the upper limb on one side with the lower limb on the other side results in some really good strengthening, some really good stabilization in your lower back. Looks like we've only got about 25 seconds left. You guys are doing awesome. I hope that this is feeling better. I hope that you have found this beneficial. Of course, if you have, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. When we're done here, I'd love for you to like this video, help it to get out there in the YouTube world. Of course, if you haven't done so already, I'd also love if you subscribe to my channel here on Tone Titan here on YouTube, so that you never miss a new video like this when I put it out. 3, 2, 1, right there. And so you can do that by hitting the circle button right here. Here's one more video that your low back might like. And we'll see you next time right here on Tone Titan.